Hi, Scorpios, and welcome to your February 2021 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky here to talk to you about the very interesting energies coming in for your month of February. What a changing point you are in for right now. Your entire, point zero starting point, where you begin from every day, your sort of source of energy, status quo way of existing is really shifting in February. I've been meditating on your energy all morning, and you're my first reading of the day today. And I've been thinking about how things are slowly changing for you. And changing they are indeed. So I don't want you to get too attached to the way things have been. It's not that you have to let go. It's not that you have to totally remit or relinquish what you've been working on. You're still very connected to the factors in your life that are or have had some amount of permanence. Those aren't going away, but the way that you face the dynamics of them, the way that you maybe work, or the way that you go about your entire experience of life is up for a change in February. This is one of the most clicking light bulb moment, aha times I've felt for Scorpio in a while that can actually have like a physical change. It's very shape-shifting. So I'm sensing some of you might be having like cosmetic work done. I'm not saying, again, like I'm not going to make an opinion about like cosmetic surgery, but for some of you, it's not even that. It could be like any type of procedure or any type of even chiropractic work or acupuncture that's causing an actual shape-shifting. I'm seeing like straightening the teeth perhaps, or somehow having more symmetry about you. It's really coming down to symmetry and energetic symmetry, which as you start to get more symmetrical, that may have exterior approaches. You could just actually start to see that your face is looking more symmetrical now, and that maybe your habits or your efforts are a little bit more symmetrical to your energy now. So with that in mind, that comes with a few pros and cons. On one hand, if you don't have the energy to do something past February, that's not going to work anymore. It's not going to yield a good result, where, for example, you've been trapped in that same laborious job forever, but you just make yourself get up for it and it still, provides your living. That dynamic will go with the Capricorn time. So if you're hating what you're doing and it's totally not in alignment with who you are, it's either just going to stop yielding that paycheck and no longer provide for your basic needs, basically pushing you into a new field, or it's going to just conclude naturally somehow, and you're just going to shift over. And I don't want you to worry so much about these shifting processes. Trust in the universe is going to be essential for you this month. So this is a mirror month for you, actually. You're going to see yourself clearer than you've seen yourself in a long time. Depending on your rising sign, of course, Neptune and Pisces is going to play an interesting role with you too, especially if you're a later degree Scorpio towards that cusp of Sagittarius. That trine is getting stronger and stronger, and it makes it really hard to clearly define your identity. Okay, so Aquarius energy is all about the definition of identity and the projection of it. So I want you guys to really start wrapping your mind around cleaning things up a little bit. Okay. And I'm not saying be fake. To be very clear, I'm not saying like, okay, yeah, let's go and get cosmetic surgery and be this person because that's like what society likes. This is not what I'm getting at. But I'm thinking that a lot of you just are maybe indecisive, and the sun really starts to come out this month and just show you who you are. And this is meant to be a good thing. It's not meant to be an adherence to a societal construct. It's meant to be like a true understanding of who you are and what you represent. Okay. We've talked about that for about a year for everyone now, but that's really coming up for Scorpio now. And why it really comes up now is because we have this huge Aquarius injection in February. And the Capricorn energy of the previous year of 2020, you see, that did not really hamper or inhibit Scorpio in any way. It doesn't mean that Scorpios didn't struggle, but there were not the same focuses placed on conflicted things, okay? It was sort of like easy acceptance, actually, and if we made that hard, that's kind of on us anyway. So Aquarius energy actually creates a conflict. It's a square, and it doesn't have to be a bad conflict. Oftentimes through conflict, we really start to define things as they need to be. So conflict only comes as a result of an unneeded lack of definition on something. And what I keep hearing is purification, cleaning things up, cleaning up your circadian rhythms, cleaning up your, I don't know, maybe like your inbox or something. Like maybe it feels like things are a little bit cluttered in the way. So let's think of like an inbox that has 18,000 emails in it, you know, and think of that in other aspects of your life. Is this like hoarding of correspondences or hoarding of energetic connecting points with other people becoming too heavy of a burden right now? I would look into that. And I would look into minimalizing things. That seems to be the only way to work very well with this Aquarian energy, because it really wants to focus everything a lot. So a minimalist philosophy is important. Try to not take on too many things. Hoarding anything is not preferable right now unless it's really contributing to your future security or something. So I guess like saving money is like hoarding money in a way. So I suppose that can be good though if it's contributing to your future. I'm just looking at some of the cards coming up for you all. And I'm just feeling it, even aside from the tarot spread, that you have a great ability now to see how you're coming off and to see your reflection, okay? And as you see that reflection, you can start to decide, you know, is this who I am, or is this like nervous? Is there something maybe, because again, I've talked about how the Scorpio Aquarius square can deal with anxiety and nervous energy. So getting right in front of that and already starting to understand how you dispel nervous energy and overcome nervous energy is an important part of February, to kind of get ahead of yourself for this year ahead. Because that can either be something that's just like this recurring theme throughout like all of 2021, or it seems that in February season it's so concentrated that you can figure that out here and now. Exercise, you know, confidence in who you are. Oftentimes when people speak and they have a nervousness, like maybe a jitter in their voice, or they start to maybe look really like, if you imagine yourself being in like a classroom and there's like some people who never really want to like participate in discussions, and they get like a nervous energy about them when they have to do it. That's kind of the energy that I feel for Scorpio right now. It's like Scorpio's like called to participate, where Scorpio is usually more of the outlier who is there but not really in the front row of things. It's basically like that student that always sits in the back and never participates, being pulled to the front and now having to participate. And they can kind of have a nervous energy about them when they do that. And this is something you want to really look at this month and try to remember the calmness and tranquility. Oh my gosh, Scorpio. So yeah, we've said this a million times. Beware of stimulants, okay? Caffeine. Also just mindsets or situations or recurring events that stimulate you. So seeing the pattern of when you're like really jittery, and if this jitteriness can't go away, I mean, yeah, let's maybe get like the blood work done or have like the thyroid checked or something, because I'm sensing that your energetic wiggle room, or what do I want to call it? It's like a fraying or it's not even a scar, but a bit of a, what's the word? A snag. I talked about this in other people's readings too. I can't remember who it was. The energetic snag is real for all of the fixed signs right now. And people are going to be able to notice it. Don't worry about it. It's not to create insecurity or worry about how you're coming off, but you've got to heal this snag, Scorpio. What can you identify as a snag in your life? Where is there like a lot of cohesion and a lot of like rhythm and pattern and tranquility, and then all of a sudden in a certain condition it becomes nervous and incohesive? Pay attention to those patterns, and by paying attention to those patterns and seeing yourself, okay? Actually, this is a good time for selfies. Interesting, Scorpio. Seeing yourself frequently, maybe doing video diaries for yourself on your phone, maybe recording videos of yourself or something, I don't know, and observing the way that you animate. It seems that you can draw conclusions. I would not usually recommend this for Scorpio, because actually there is a weird energetic thing that happens when we see ourselves in motion. It's not really meant to happen. And the way that we experience ourselves reflected back at us is sometimes a psychological thing altogether. But rarely you can really learn about how you're coming off, and through that knowledge, become a lot more empowered in your life. So I just recommend that you take time to see yourself, time with the mirror, time in the selfie camera, video diaries, and start to love it, okay? Not so much the selfies, but love how you are coming off and love the way that you are showing yourself, and see if there isn't a sort of frenetic vibe about it, and start to ask yourself, where's that coming from? Where's that desperation or that sort of automated electric wow thing coming from? And if you can figure that out now, you can save yourself all of the potential anxiety that this time can indicate. Okay, last point before we get into the week to week for you, Scorpio. Long reading this month. You have to believe that things are going to turn out okay for you. Okay? We've talked about worried or verging on paranoid mindsets, which was a really big part of 2020 and maybe one of the only ways that you truly struggled. And seeing back over that last year and seeing how maybe none of those worries ever panned out is imperative right now. And you've got Wheel of Fortune coming up in your reading. You've got Three of Wands. The only way, and Knight of Pentacles, the only way you can overcome some of these heavier things, there is a bit of heaviness here, that you're going to probably go into a 4 or 5 month cycle of cleaning up and purifying. The only way to basically manifest your way out of it is to believe very wholeheartedly that you're protected, that you're capable of living a life that you want to live, a positive, high vibrational life. Remembering the seasonal aspects of life, how the sun comes out, how there are times of the year where there's a cold and barren nature, and there are times of the year where there's a warm and, temperate, fertile nature. And trusting that that warm, fertile time must return, because I don't feel that it's returned yet for Scorpio, actually, since like 2015. Since you had Saturn in your sign, I don't think that it's really returned yet. It's kind of flirted. It's been here very minimally. But you guys are called in 2021 to remember fertility, energetic fertility, and trusting that you have a ability to create in your life. And that's not going to come through doing your financial accounts. That's not going to come through preparing for worst case scenarios. That's not going to come through conceptualizing around every negative outcome so that you're prepared for it. That's over. And if you guys continue with that Nine of Swords, death, Ten of Wands energy, working really hard, thinking of every possible problem area, being a fixer, being someone who is prepared to face every possible negative outcome, is very powerful on you. It's true. But does that really give you room to be in that eagle archetype and accept those updrafts, to accept those where the universe is working with you so that you can kind of stop flapping your wings so hard? That we're in an air sign now. This is Aquarius season, and air energy is important. So for those of you who struggle breathing, for those of you who just can't, there I am going myself. It's like, that is all resolved this year if you let the air work with you, if you let the air work with you instead of relying on your own capacity to do everything, okay? But there's still a lot you guys have to do. Let's talk about the week to week and get some more other, hopefully positive messages coming in for Scorpio. Very interesting month. I want to say right before we start that it feels really positive to me, and the potential level is through the roof, but you guys have to get on that bandwagon too. Week number 1, you've got Page of Pentacles rooted down by Six of Pentacles. So it is actually maybe about the value that you're finding in what you're doing. So in your job, in your location, in your choices, what is the value? Hopefully things with finances are fine and in order. Try to not, indebt yourself too much or take on too many things that, like I've been saying for a lot of the signs this month, beware of debt, beware of taking things on, at least for like more than this year, because it's easy to like contract yourself for like the next 12 years actually when it comes to work and money generation. So be as like I would say conservative as possible with like what money you have. And when I say conservative, I mean like, conserve it instead of like spending. Week number 2, you have death rooted down by the Wheel of Fortune. This is the week that I want you to really pay attention to. This is the deepest point of the Mercury retrograde in Aquarius, which I made a video about. And it's going to show you all of this, this transformation that you're about to take on, the luck and benevolence of it, and the fact that there is a cleaning up process or a purifying process that needs to happen. And this could be as simple as like, maybe you own a vacant house or something and that needs cleaned up and maybe sold or rented, or keep your eye on things which are vacant or uninhabited in your life. This is an energy I've felt for Scorpio for a while. Try to make a plan around that, or start to inject some energy into those things that will also help you to make your energy less nervous. Though also I think that you have to put your foot down about certain things in the second week. So people who might be taking advantage of you, people who might not have your best interests at heart, people who might even be, I want to say like abusing your projection. So I almost want to say, and again, I'm going to draw a line here because this is not to make you worried or to make you start like freaking out that something like this is happening. Are there people doing things in your name? And this could be as simple as like relatives being like, well, insert name of Scorpio here says this, and I believe, and I agree with them, when you've never like said anything, but maybe people using your status or your energy, doing things maybe in your name. So to keep in mind, things like identity theft, things like what your name is being used for. It's really not a huge worry, but I think it's something that you need to keep in mind when you're moving forward, and that will really help to satiate any of these issues that you're having with worry. And basically the second week starts just a shift in the wheel. It's like worries now turn into securities, and then certain securities can now turn into worries as well. So again, remember the seasonal aspect of life. Don't feel like you got to control these things, Scorpio. None of us have total control over our lives. There are higher forces than us sometimes as Scorpios. We got to remember that we are ruled by Pluto. That's pretty powerful stuff, but nonetheless human. Okay, week number 3, you have 3 of Wands rooted down by 9 of Swords. I love it when a week lines up with a number. So third week, 3 of Wands. The third week is going to ask you to overcome worry and paranoia about your future horizons. So I want to do this. I want to have this. I want to be at this place in life. But in order to get there, I'm going to have to really like worry and basically like work super hard and think super hard about what it takes. And your mind is actually meant to lighten up a little bit. Okay. 9 of Swords is always a reminder that we're getting too mental, too logistical about things, and you've got to actually get into your body. So your embodiment, the space you're sharing with other people, romance, okay, and animal magnetism, right? The attraction that you have with other people. Single Scorpios, think about this. And I feel that some Scorpios on one hand may have gone overboard with like dating, and then some other Scorpios are like totally isolating themselves. There's no like middle ground for single Scorpios. So you need to look at that in the third week if you feel that way. Coupled Scorpios, it's really a lot better, but I just want to remind you of overthinking things and how it might be better to instead just like enjoy your surroundings. Week number 4, you have 10 of Wands rooted down by Knight of Pentacles. So working really hard on a new venture. It looks like some of you are starting a new business or a new creative project. And that's good. It's fine actually to work really hard in the 4th week of February. I would recommend that in Pisces season, which that is, moving into March especially though, try to pull back a little bit. I find that Scorpios can really get ahead through doing less during Pisces season. So sure, work really hard in the fourth week of February if it's like a labor of love, But moving into March, I want you guys to maybe prepare yourself, maybe a brief hiatus or just a little bit less, because especially around equinox time, so around like March 15th to March 25th, that's a really beautiful time for Scorpio to regain psychic energy. So try to not book yourself up too much then. Otherwise, do think about how you can have passive income in your life. That's really possible for everybody in the year of the ox, is to create so we have to remember like ethics and integrity as a foundation for everything. But on that, I don't know, there might be something like if you have that vacant house, why not fix it up a little bit and rent it out, I'm sensing that many Scorpios, and this may not even be about money, so this might not be about possessions or even businesses or anything like that, but it's the idea of having all these things like right at your hands. So our hypothetical situation, maybe somebody is like working this really arduous job and they've like inherited an empty house or something, and they just let the empty house sit when it could like be bringing them in rental income and they could work less, but they just don't have time to deal with it because they're overwhelmed from their 9-to-5 job. So they never get into that space. How can you pull back a little bit, Scorpio, and consider how life can be easier on you? Okay. Have a little bit less right now so that you can have more in the future. Don't spend from your future through labor now. That's hard, okay? And poignant in the fourth week. You'll get it in the fourth week though. You're gonna really see that, okay, I only live once, I gotta like think about what a lot of my life force energy is going to. You've got a lot of, like I've said for a lot of the signs, but especially Scorpio and Leo, lots of free control over the knobs of life. I do this, I do that. I get money from here, I get money from there. I have friends here. This is my philosophy on romance or dating. All of this stuff is like right at your control. So why not make it better on yourself? Anyway, Scorpio, beautiful month. You're going to come through into March, and I think that you're just going to be like, oh my God, I've been really making things a lot harder on myself than they ever had to be. I've learned, and I'm going to let this Wheel of Fortune just kind of turn a little bit into a space where, yes, I'm passionate. I have goals. I enjoy working hard, because my work is going to give me something, but I'm not sacrificing my future potential to fulfill laborious tasks, That's how I see Scorpio thinking right now. And good luck with that, Scorpio. On that note, I'm going to put together an extended reading for you on Patreon. We went quite a long time today, 22 minutes, but I'm going to get a central theme and 2 supporting themes. For those of you who haven't seen the Patreon page, do check it out. It's a great, great value. I've been doing it since 2017, and I'm really happy that it's still the same exact price as it was then, despite inflation, despite how many services, I think all like monthly services are upping their prices right now. I'm keeping mine down at $5 a month, and you can choose to pay more if you want. Like Patreon has an ability where you can do a higher pledge or pledge whatever you want, but I'm not raising the price. I'm keeping it exactly the same, and you get all the extended readings, all of the readings early and ad-free, and weekly forecasts on Patreon for that very affordable price of $5 a month, unless you yourself wanted to pay more, considering it more valuable. But I'm going to link that in the center of the screen now, and it's going to be right below in the description box. Let's jump over there now for your extended. Much love, Scorpios. Happy February. Enjoy it. Bye.